Welcome. Welcome. Beautiful day today. And thanks for joining in. We are today going to be talking about a thing that most people don't even think about, and that's insurance. That's what we're going to cover today is insurance. Does your photographer have insurance? $100,000 question, maybe more. Who knows? Okay. Does your photographer have insurance? And that's what we're going to explore today. So let's get into it. I'm Bill. This is Detroit Commercial Photo and Video. And what our talk is today about is insurance. Our live video is about photographers' insurance. Does every photographer have insurance? Yes. No. Do you have insurance? Yes. No. Everybody has got a certain amount of insurance. Everybody does. We expect we're going to have auto insurance. I would expect everybody to have their home insurance, homeowners policy kind of thing. You'd expect most people to have life insurance. That's a pretty common thing as well. I mean, some people don't, but majority of us do have those basic things in place. I mean, my God, if something happened and your house burned to the ground and you don't have insurance, you're really screwed. Okay. So most people carry those kinds of things. Now, let's talk about how it pertains in this. You've got that wedding plan. You hire a photographer. The photographer sends an assistant up on the balcony to photograph the processional and the ceremony from a different angle. Happens all the time. Back in the day, years ago, when I shot weddings, I did it all the time. And I don't think there was very few weddings unless there was no balcony. But if there's a balcony, you can bet you I had a man up in that balcony. Okay. Always, always, always. Okay. Because that's a whole different angle. Beautiful shots from it. Well, imagine, thank God it never happened to me, but I know someone this happened to. This fellow drops the camera and it comes down and it hits your relative square in the top of the head, or your daughter's best friend, or somebody from work. These people are going to want to be made whole. They may end up in the ER, okay, in the emergency room, okay? You know, that can really hurt. You drop a camera from 10, 15, 20 feet right on top of someone's head or shoulder or whatever, and it can really hurt, really do some damage big time, okay? All right. Or let's give another scenario. The fellow shoots the wedding, and this happened to another company back in the days when we were shooting film. Shot the wedding, a big event, a huge event. People spent major money for it. Gave the film to a courier. The courier stops at a store, leaves the car running, a small pickup truck running, goes inside to get him a soda pop, and boom, in the 3 minutes he's inside, someone steals the vehicle. Vehicle never to be seen again. All the film's gone from not only his wedding, but other weddings. What do you think happened? The suits started flying big time. Here's another scenario that did happen to moi, okay? It happened to me back in the days when I used to shoot a lot of babies. I had a baby program, and I had people coming from all around. So imagine someone comes from Port Huron, you photograph the baby, you have a great session, got some great images, and now this is digital. You go take the card out of the camera and put it into the computer in order to start working it, and lo and behold, you had no way of knowing, but that little card, I meant to bring one out, that little card is about so big, okay, was corrupted. Somehow, that card got corrupted. Somehow it malfunctioned, okay? But when I went to put it in the computer, it didn't want to bring up anything. These are all really bad scenarios. Some of them can be redone. Some of them can be taken care of and be corrected. Others can't. So the one question in 35 years that I've never been asked, and that is, What about insurance? Bill, do you have insurance? Okay. Never have I had that. I had one fellow back in the wedding days say, hey, what happens if you get sick or you can't make it or you die or whatever, and you can't cover the wedding? What are you going to do then? Okay. But aside from that, it just never happened. Okay. That's the only time it ever happened was, I think, once or twice that people were asking if I had a backup photographer. So, first of all, insurances. Let's talk about two distinct kinds. Liability, it's called. This covers such things as bodily injury. That's the scenario where the camera falls, hits somebody in the head. The photographer set up at your home or your office and cords going all over the place. Someone trips on a cord, knock on wood. I've never had that happen either, but it happens easily. Trips on a cord, falls in and smacks their head into a corner table and has major problem. That's what that's all about. Property damage, okay? Go in, do a job, okay? And boom, something happens and who knows what, okay? And the place gets destroyed. Someone trips on a cord, hits something on the wall, knocks down 3 lamps, and breaks a table and priceless heirloom and whatever else. Well, that's what property damage would be there for. Once again, that covers under the photographer's general liability. Invasion of privacy. Now, if you're shooting the wedding today, if this is a wedding coming up, and there's any chance of this photographer having a drone, you better make sure he has this liability insurance. Today, there's a lot of suits going on where someone says that that drone invaded my privacy, invaded my airspace. So if that's the case, you better make sure he's got that coverage, okay? So you don't get caught in the middle, so you don't have a problem. Liability, this is a little bit more far-fetched, but it comes into it, is liability and slander. The photographer slanders one of your guests. The photographer says something bad about one of your guests, okay? And they get upset and they come to you and they threaten to sue you. You better make very sure your photographer has got this liability and covers these things. I hope none of these things ever happen to you. And this is a subject nobody wants. I mean, the last thing in the world anybody wants to talk about is insurance, okay? I mean, it's poor, but it's a necessity in today's day and age, okay? So that's a very important thing, okay? And that is general liability. The next one is, and I kind of covered it already, but it's called something different. It's called indemnification. I barely pronounce it. Indemnification insurance. And what this is for is you got your photographer out there, all set up. The camera dies. Ladies and gents, listening to this, if you're not listening to it, if you catch it on the replay, the facts about electronics is it dies unexpectedly. It just all of a sudden quits. There's no way of knowing. I just had $800 work done on my car, and 2 days later, one of the computers went out on it. Nothing you can do about it. Another option is photographer doesn't show and he doesn't send a backup. That's indemnification. Does he have that? So you can be made whole. You're going to sue that guy. We all know that, okay? Rightfully so, all right? Well, does he have insurance so that if you go to sue him, there's somebody there to sue with? There's somebody there somehow. I mean, if he hasn't got any money, you can't get blood out of a stone, as they say, okay? So you might want to make sure he has indemnification insurance. Okay. And the third one, like I talked about, and that was having a bad or corrupted card that unbeknown, nobody knew it, put it in there. In my case, I was able to acquire some special software that I was able to get enough off the card, 3/4 of the images anyways, that I could do something with, and the client was happy in the end. And to tell you the truth, they never even knew about it. I never told them about it. But that's what indemnification was. So if I couldn't have got anything out from it, and they would got crazy and say, gee, I come from Port Huron for this, blah, 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 blah. I want to be made whole. Okay, then there would have been insurance to cover them and protect me and protect them. So it's called indemnification insurance. So those are the two insurances related to, or if it be a product shoot and there's cords and stands all over this kind of thing, or it be food, okay, be it your restaurant, be it your establishment, okay. If somebody breaks something, who's liable, who's responsible, okay. So these are insurances I can highly encourage that you make sure your photographer has, okay. And unfortunately, there are a lot of photographers out there, especially the newer ones, that are just not carrying that insurance. These are an important subject, okay? If you have any comments, leave them below. I promise I'll get back with you just as soon as I possibly can, usually within 24 hours or so. Like it if you would, and please subscribe. We're trying to get those subscribers up. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for taking a few minutes. Have a great day. Bye now.